Hey, Amber.
They saw my tum-tum!
The moon landing didn't happen.
Are you actually gonna wear that?
Sorry, but like, ew.
Did she spray Pam on the food?
That ass, though.
You're lolcows. That's what you guys do.
Krystle's becoming a little picky thing, and I get pretty grouchy with her, and I know I shouldn't.
Hey folks, what's good? I'm your Game Master Deets, and today we're reviewing the results of the latest edition of the Gorl Games, the Krystle Era Part 2. And friends, what an era it has been. I'm almost finished watching every single video that's still currently available to watch from that particular time in Amberlynn's life. I'm down to the last couple of months before the breakup. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, the anxiety is getting real as we near the Destiny era. That's a conversation for another day and another Gorl game. Today, we're diving into the second half of the Krystle Era, which was a different kind of dark time.
Dark time?
In Amberlynn's history. Before we get into the quiz results, I'll catch us up a little bit on where we left off from the first Krystle Era Gorl game, and also be sure to stick around after the quiz results for a look at the bonus questions. If you did it, you know what I mean. It was a little weird. I actually asked you to submit the one question you would ask Krystle's parents if you had the chance. So we'll take a look at those together too. And as always, today's watch list will be in the description below. And like I mentioned last time around, I've mostly been watching the Krystle Era through the Ankles Big Cherry Retro Reacts. So big shout out to Jordan for his true dedication to the cause.
I roll.
Oh, and one last thing. I will include some timestamps in the description if you'd like to skip directly to any specific section of this video. All right, ready? Let's go. So, leaving off from the last Krystle Era Gorl game, things were not good.
Krystle's telling me I'm sniveling.
Amberlynn was bullying Krystle.
And then when I get upset about something, I don't know how to control my emotions.
Leeching off of Krystle's parents, starting lots of weight loss efforts, but certainly not losing any weight.
I was losing a lot of weight, and then all of a sudden our other scale broke, and it discouraged me, and I ended up gaining a lot of weight.
She definitely wasn't getting a job, but she was filming her girlfriend without consent.
No, you're believing that.
And she was just constantly practicing her preferred methods of manipulation and just general toxic behavior.
But I get upset when she doesn't like something that I cooked or even just warmed up. I shouldn't be like that.
She was spending hundreds, even thousands of Krystle's parents' dollars every month on cheap jewelry, body sprays, and a whole lot of groceries.
I'm addicted to shopping, yes.
Amberlynn had been handed a genuinely golden opportunity to better herself, to lose weight and to get her health on track. And she was wasting every single second of it. Instead, she decided to put hard work into her victim mentality and her bad attitude.
I think I'm being a grumpy monster because I'm tired. But that's what happens.
And her viewers could see it too. Even though she only had a couple hundred YouTube subscribers at this time, somehow she was already gaining critics and even haters.
Just being a jerk. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. Krystle?
I mean, really, that is impressive if you really think about it, right? To only have a few hundred people watching your videos, but still have these people criticizing your behavior? That's gotta be bad.
I was like, crap, that's really sad.
They were seeing beyond just her lack of weight loss, because remember, hers is not a weight loss channel.
The scale was broken. I didn't lose any weight.
They were already seeing the completely toxic sides of Amber's personality.
I leave a lot bottled in, and it creates me to kind of explode. Normally I explode in a negative way and I get kind of harsh.
Now, side note, if you missed my video about Amber's original hater, I will drop a link in the description down below so you can watch it after this. Everyone should know about Capstone. That's beside the point. Amber's viewers weren't the only ones who were clued in to her lies and her bullying and her manipulation. It was easy to see the fact that Krystle was also starting to just grow tired of her. You know, she wasn't just avoiding the camera anymore. She was actually pulling away from like any kind of physical touch. Actually, she was just like distancing herself in general from Amber. This is speculation, of course, but I do wonder if getting her driver's license was kind of the first step to her realizing that happiness could exist outside the walls of her parents' house, and thus out of Amber's reach. You know, she was no longer always in the same room as Amberlynn, and instead we just kind of see her scuttle by from one side of the frame to the other, kind of dodging Amber's peripheral vision as best as she could. There were fewer instances of her silent discomfort from being forced on camera, and instead we actually start to hear her stick up for herself. Every now and then. You know, it wasn't all the time, but it certainly was more than she did in the beginning. Come to think of it, I can't even remember the last time I heard Krystle laugh as I've been making my way through these months and months of videos. She used to laugh, you know, it was awkwardly, sure, but it was a laugh nonetheless, and just not anymore, and that's really sad. But that being said, I guess if we don't get to see Krystle smiling, then as we get closer and closer to the end, I'll look forward to more of Krystle's side eyes and unimpressed shrugs. It may not seem like much to most people, but for someone like Krystle, I think it was a big deal to tell someone as intimidating and as mean as Amberlynn to stop.
She's acting like she's hot shit. Just
You know, remember, not everyone is comfortable standing up to bullies. And sadly, of course, those are the people that bullies love to push around the most. Even though we can see that Krystle has been pulling away, Amberlynn doesn't see it at all.
Okay. Hello, this is the shade hotline.
At least, not until it's too late. A narcissist doesn't see anything that doesn't fit into the narrative that they created. Even then, they'll only see it the way they want to see it. Somehow, they can create their own comfortable delusion and live at the center of their own false reality. And when at last Amber kind of gets a hint that the end is coming,
I messed up.
well, that's when the desperation sets in. And I think that's actually probably the best segue into the quiz results.
And now, the Game Show Network presents...
Here's question 1. At one point, ooh, my voice. I'm actually just getting over a cold. I'm getting the voice back still. At one point, Amber was reading a book on her channel, word for word, and someone threatened to call the publisher and report her. What was the book? 50 Days of Weight Loss by Elizabeth Sparkle, Weight Loss Your Way by Linda Lawless, 100 Days of Weight Loss by Linda Spangle, or How to Lose Weight on Any Diet by Lindsay Spangler. Guys, let me tell you, sometimes I have fun writing all of the fake answers to kind of sound like the real answer and also sound like it could be a real answer. I don't know why I find joy in this, but I do. And there's Minnie barking. Minnie, come on now. Settle, please. Thank you. That's enough. All right. Can we get back to this quiz now? Can I? All right, thank you. Minnie Waffles the corgi, always having her say. Okay, back to it. What was I saying? Right, answers to question 1. We had 65.7% say 100 Days of Weight Loss by Linda Spangle. 20% said How to Lose Weight on Any Diet by Lindsay Spangler. 8.6% guessed it was 50 Days of Weight Loss by Elizabeth Sparkle. And the remainder said Weight Loss Your Way by Linda Lawless. Let's see what the answer is, shall we?
Before I express my weigh-in, a lot of you asked about this book. It is called 100 Days of Weight Loss, The Secret to Being Successful on Any Diet Plan by Linda Spangle.
Now, what's amazing about this is the fact that Amberlynn had less than 400 followers still, like I said earlier. You know, she already had haters and people that disliked her enough to do something like this, to take it to the next level, like into real life.
Now someone's telling me that their exact words in a comment on here is, someone you speak with regularly is telling people she is going to contact the publisher of the book you're reading for reading it on YouTube. Be careful, you have more haters than you think you do.
You know, cow tipping this early on is wild to me. And who do we think this book troll was? I've seen theories that it was Krystle, which I'm sure is not actually true, but I wish it were. Honestly, there's the villain in me that wishes it were Krystle. I did fall down the rabbit hole on this one, of course I did. And I actually kind of got a lead on who the informant was. And I think what I'm going to do is actually make a bonus video out of this little side quest of mine because, well, I haven't figured out the mystery yet, but I'm pretty dang close. And maybe you all can help me solve it. Until then, let's move on to question 2. Question 2. Where did Krystle and her parents take Amber for dinner on her 24th birthday? Man, my voice, let me drink some water here. Hang on. Still working on that. Okay. Question 2. Where did Krystle and her parents take Amber for dinner on her 24th birthday? Texas Roadhouse, the Cheesecake Factory, Benihana, or nowhere they had to cancel. 45.7% thought that the answer was Texas Roadhouse. 31.4% said Cheesecake Factory. 17.1% said nowhere they had to cancel, and the rest went to Benihana. Now, let's answer it first. We'll go to the clip, find out what the answer is. Then I do have something to say about it.
So today is my 24th birthday. I can't even believe I'm 24 years old. Like, I can't process it. So whenever it's someone's birthday here, we choose where we want to go out to eat. I chose the Cheesecake Factories.
Yo, right to it, huh, Amby? Oh, never change.
Okay, so this one was an interesting one because they almost didn't go because Krystle's sister's cat was very sick at the time.
We're planning on going today, but we're not sure what's going to happen because Krystle's sister, she has a cat, and the cat is extremely sick. They were at the vet yesterday all day long. He actually has an enlarged heart that they noticed. The vet don't know if...
The vet don't know. The vet don't know. Oh my God, girl.
If the cat is sick from that, or if the cat has always had an enlarged heart, because a lot of cats have enlarged hearts and it's completely, just something they live with. So the cat's still sick, and if the cat is sick, then, or like, how do I explain?
Girl, this is a long-ass, drawn-out explanation for why they don't want to take you out today. It really, really is.
If the cat is like worse off or like still the same, then we're just not gonna go.
I don't actually know what happened with the cat, but I know that Brandy ended up needing to take care of the cat. Imagine that, like putting your pet first in your life. Jeez, even Amber had the examples right in front of her of how to be a good pet parent. And she never learned a damn thing. Anyway, I don't actually know what happened, but I can only imagine that Amber had a total meltdown. So Brandy did end up taking the cat to the vet by herself, rather than the rest of the family going with her. So Amby got to go get her orange chicken. And if you look at this clip, there's even further evidence that things got a little chippy because everyone entered the restaurant way before Amber did. Like, it's as though they hadn't waited for her. Like, they just got out of the car, left Amber, taking her damn time.
Oh, they were way ahead of her, dude. On her birthday? They left her behind on her birthday? Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Okay. Ugh.
There's not enough information to really truly know what happened, but I can only imagine. So happy birthday, Amby. I guess you got what you wanted, right? Moving on. Question 3. Amber and Krystle went to Busch Gardens, an amusement park, with Krystle's parents. Now, other than the train that goes around the park, Amber went on one ride while they were there. What type of ride was it? 62.9% of you said that it was a 3D haunted ride. 22.9% said a log ride. 11.4% went with a giant slide. And the rest went to a roller coaster. This was an interesting day. First of all, we got to go to Busch Gardens. Like, we got out of the house, finally. We did not leave Krystle's parents' house during this era unless we were going to the grocery store or whatever store they were going to. We didn't get to leave the house, you know? Krystle's parents' house became like, you know what her apartment is like today? It feels almost like a prison. It's so claustrophobic. But on this day, we got to go to Busch Gardens.
Krystle! Oh, she's gonna ignore me. I see how she plays. I see how she is. She's looking because she heard me. We're going on the train. Yay! We're on the train. Train. I'm excited. I'm actually waiting in line for a ride. Currently in line. Oh yeah.
Outside the walls. My son has no power there.
So that in and of itself was kind of exciting, and I couldn't wait to see what happened. And man, Amber's feeling sorry for herself because of the position that she herself has put herself in. Say herself again. The Krystle era has been a lot for me, guys. We have Amber feeling sorry for herself because she can't fit on any rides. Then you see this moment between her and Krystle where it's one of those moments where Krystle stands up for herself. She basically like yells at Amber, like puts her in her place. And of course, for anybody else, it's quiet and subdued. But for Krystle, it felt like a really big deal. Like she really had a moment of empowerment. And she got mad at Amber.
You gotta let everyone know. Did you like it? Smile for the camera.
Amber. And I think they got into a big fight off camera. And in addition to that, then, you know, Amber goes on to tell a story about how she couldn't even fit through a turnstile at one of the rides that she was trying to go on.
I'm literally, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm humiliated, I'm sad, I'm embarrassed. I was in line to go on a ride, and I'm always nervous when I'm about to go on a ride because most of the time I don't fit, like you guys know, so I wanted to give it a chance. And you know those things that you have to like walk through for it to kind of scan you as a person, like those metal bars? Well, I didn't fit in it. I couldn't fit in it whatsoever. I couldn't even walk through it. And it was really embarrassing. There was no way for me to get past. So the lady's like, well, turn around and come through the exit. I mean, I just left and I told them I'm just not going to go on it. I'm just so ashamed. I am a 23-year-old girl who can't fit through like a human thing. It's pretty pathetic. And what hurts the most is that I was supposed to go on it with Krystle and now I can't.
Which admittedly is very sad. Like, that sucks, and I cannot imagine the embarrassment that goes along with that moment. I truly can't. And it is one of those moments where I do almost feel bad for Amber, but then I realize she's in this moment where she could have been fixing that problem, and she is wasting every moment of it. In any case, Busch Gardens was quite the outing. A lot happened that day, and yeah, she went on a 3D haunted ride, so that's what she got to do, and she also had a great time going on the train around the park. Next question. What was the first thing that Amber and Krystle did after Krystle passed her driving test? Options here are they went to World Market, they went to Target, they went to Starbucks, or they went out for sushi. 45.7% of people said they went to Target. And then we have a pretty even split between they went out for sushi and they went to World Market, and a pretty small sliver thinking they went to Starbucks. So let's find out where they went.
Krystle drove like amazing. So to celebrate, we're going to her favorite restaurant, Kappa Garden Sushi Bistro, sorry. Thank you, babe. We're so polite. I don't see my favorite. Oh wait, is that it? I like that one, but it's not my favorite one.
Now, believe it or not, they actually went to all of these places that day to celebrate Krystle getting her license. But, of course, they got food before they did anything else.
All right, so first stop after we ate, we're going to World Market.
So sushi it was. And just kind of going back to what I mentioned earlier, I do wonder if this was one of the turning points for Krystle. You know, this newfound sense of freedom, the ability to go anywhere she wanted, whenever she wanted, to finally feel like the adult that she was. It may not have been the reason, but I would be willing to bet that this was a stepping stone to one of the things that like empowered Krystle to break free from Amber's hold. I don't know, knowing she could achieve big goals like this, you know, like learning how to drive and passing the test and getting her license. I mean, that is a big deal. And it probably helped Krystle to really start believing in herself. And thus, I don't know, maybe she started listening to herself some more. It's all speculation, but I don't know. Let's move on to the next question. Where did Krystle's mom get Monkey from? The options here were a family friend, PetSmart, a shelter, or a breeder. Now, 40% of people said a family friend, 28.6% went with a shelter, 17.1% said PetSmart, and 14.3% said a breeder. So another one that was kind of split.
Krystle's mom saw him and just took a picture in front of PetSmart, sent it to Krystle's dad, and I'm like, oh my god, I've wanted a dog for so long. So I urged us all to go see him and then adopted him. So my fault, I think.
I put this one in here because for some reason I actually thought I knew the answer to this question. Like I had heard it on a different video some other time, maybe a compilation, whatever. Then I saw this clip. I was caught off guard by how wrong I was. I actually thought they had gotten Monkey from a friend, but I guess it was just the fact that Wanda was out with a friend when they saw Monkey at PetSmart. So, yeah, I was wrong on this one. I don't know. Let's go to question 6. Next question. Which of the following phrases does not belong at the end of the sentence? If you hear something in the background, that's blank. The options were Krystle playing Rock Band, Krystle doing laundry, Krystle clearing her throat, or Krystle playing with Monkey. 40% of you went with Krystle playing with Monkey. And then it was an even split at 22.9% going with Krystle playing Rock Band and Krystle doing laundry. And then 14.3% of you saying Krystle clearing her throat. The 40% of you are absolutely correct in saying that it was Krystle playing with Monkey. How many times did Amber Lynn say those 3 phrases? Honestly, somebody should make a compilation of it if they haven't by now. I haven't seen it if they did, but one should definitely exist.
I'm inspiring people, and that's all that matters. By the way, if you guys hear this noise, that's what it is. So I'm sorry about that. If you ever hear that clicking noise in one of my videos, it is my girlfriend playing Rock Band.
If you guys have any vloggers that you'd like to watch, you should leave it down below. If you guys are wondering what that clicking
Oh my god.
as was, Krystle's legit playing Rock Band like she owns the place. I don't know if you guys have...
Well, she kinda does, dude.
It was wild how often she felt she needed to remind her audience of what the sound was that you could hear in the background, even though we heard it in the last 5 videos that she uploaded, and she told us what it was that time too.
If you hear stuff in the background, Krystle's legit playing some like scary game right now. I don't even know, but she's shooting things and they're making weird noises.
I think most of the time it was Krystle playing Rock Band, and oftentimes the washer and dryer will be going off just like feet away from where Amber decided that she wanted to film. Because why would Amber leave the room and make things better for the video?
My girlfriend's doing the laundry. Well, this is fun. Great night. If you're wondering what that clicking is.
Oh my god. Freaking Christ, dude. Sorry, Amber. Every time she's like, sorry, if you're wondering what that clicking is. Sorry, girl, I thought it was the Babadook freaking tapping on your window to get in.
There was also the whole long time period where Krystle was having issues and a lot of discomfort with her throat, and she was seeing a doctor, and Amber was going with her to the doctor's appointments. I'm not going to get into the diagnosis and the treatment today, but you can best believe that Amby was telling everyone on the internet the intimate details of her girlfriend's health issues. Seriously, poor Krystle. And for that matter, every other girlfriend that Amber has had since, right? But yeah, I don't actually think that Krystle was a dog person. While I wouldn't say that Monkey was Amber's dog, Wanda got Monkey for the family. I think Krystle was a cat person. We never really saw her playing with Monkey, unless she was playing with Monkey off camera, which is entirely possible. Anyway, next question. After hitting someone else's cart with hers at Target, Amber told a story about a time she hit something else with her really big purse while she was in a convenience store. What did she hit? An entire rack of wine, an entire rack of candy, an entire shelf of chips, or an entire shelf of protein bars. This one was super split on the answers. We had 31.4% of people saying an entire rack of candy, 28.6% saying an entire shelf of chips, 25.7% with an entire rack of wine, and 14.3% saying an entire shelf of protein bars. I put this one here, I guess, because come on. Let's see the clip and we can talk about it.
Never hit a person with my cart. Never in my life. I've never ran into anything with my cart. The only thing that has happened to me in the past in the store is I was carrying a really big purse one time, and it was actually a really small convenience store, and I was walking past this rack with a bunch of wine, and I knocked off all the wine with my purse, and it made the biggest mess ever. That was the only time in a store that I actually ran into something, and it wasn't even due to a cart, it was a purse.
Come on, Amber. An entire rack of wine. Of course that's what Amberlynn knocks over. Why would it be the simple thing to clean up? Or the inexpensive thing? No, it would be the expensive liquid in glass bottles, right? I can only imagine the mess. And I feel like Amber would pull a hit and run on something like this, getting out of that store as fast as her legs could carry her. Unless that is, she was wearing the wrong shoes.
I wore the wrong shoes. I'm wearing the totally wrong shoes.
All right, let's move on. Amber loved the following quote so much that she had it displayed somewhere. Where was it displayed? Sometimes you have to be your own kind of hero. Now, if you're a member of my channel, I know you already knew this one because I made a members only video about this whole thing. But for those of you who don't know the answer, let's watch the clip.
My name is Must Be a Rarity. My little tagline, or whatever you want to call it, says, sometimes you have to be your own kind of hero. And then,
oh my gosh, she's gonna read it to us. Of course she is. Ugh.
My about me is really long, but
oh my Jesus, Amber.
Yeah, so that was on her MyFitnessPal profile. What a wild about me section she had on there. That's what the video was about that I made for my channel members. But anyway, I still wanted to include this one in the quiz because I wanted to chat about her weight loss a little bit. Or rather, I guess, the lies about her weight loss during this time in her life. Because there was an interesting scene that involved this moment here. While I was watching the Ankles reaction to one of the videos during this time, Jordan pointed out something that some people may have missed. And I might have missed it because it was a big mistake on Amber's part. Amber was setting up her new Fitbit that she'd gotten from Krystle's parents and then showing the website that, kind of shows all your stats. It was already populated with her information. including her weight. A weight that was in fact much higher than she had been admitting at the time.
So I got my Fitbit set up and it's on my wrist.
That thing must be tight.
So exciting to me, and I can't wait to see how I sleep tonight. Because right now it's past 11 a.m.
419.9 pounds. Ain't that interesting, you guys? 419.9 pounds. Why does it say that, Amber? Why does it say that? Huh? Oh, you guys. Oh. Caught her. Caught her. Confirmed, Amberlynn does in fact weigh more than 400 pounds. We knew this though, right? We all felt it deep down.
So I won't be doing much walking, but...
I can't believe that.
This is really neat. You can like track your food and stuff.
Why would... Because like, I'm sure she had to put the number in there. Why would she put that number? Why? Huh?
I can't remember if she mentioned it and tried to make an excuse for it later on. She might have, but in any case, the lies about her weight and her weight loss started all the way back in the Krystle era when she first started her not weight loss channel. Next question. Krystle purchased a George Foreman grill for Amber, and we were then graced with a recipe. Refer to the image below. Out of the options, what did Amber not use to flavor this delicious meal? Take a look at that photo here. Well, not a photo, it's a still from her video. This delicious meal. The options were Mrs. Dash, garlic powder, Bragg liquid aminos, and mustard. 68.6% of people said mustard. 17.1% said Bragg liquid aminos. 8.6% went with Mrs. Dash, and the rest with garlic powder. We all know that she does not use a whole lot of flavor on any of the food that she makes to this day, and these are some of the ones that have shown up in her recipes the most. So it could be any of those, but let's find out what the answer was.
So I'll just add a couple little drop lanes. I got some on the side of the plate. That's fun.
Yeah, that was just a couple, Amber. Okay.
That's probably less than a serving even. It just adds a little bit of flavor. Now I need to open my...
I hope she doesn't do that to poor Krystle's meal.
Mrs. Dash.
You notice though how Amber is already getting her plate all fixed together and Krystle's chicken isn't even off of the grill yet?
Get some on there. It's so good like this. And then...
Oh, dude.
My mustard. Just to add a little bit of flavor because I do not put anything on this. So if I can get it out... And I'll,
Oh my god, Amber. You could make food that's actually enjoyable.
Spread it. And ta-da! There is my meal number 3.
Wow, Amber, there you go. Making yet another totally unappetizing pile of food. Also, fun fact, by the way, the George Foreman reminded me of this. Did you know that Amber started cooking with water during the Krystle era? I actually had thought it was later on, maybe a year or two later than this. But yeah, no, check this out. Here's a dinner Amber made for herself and Krystle. More chicken on the George Foreman and sweet potatoes cooked in water.
Instead of wasting a lot of calories on oil when you don't really need it that much, what I do is I use water when I'm cooking something in a pan. And I also use a little bit of the 100% extra virgin olive oil cooking spray, which is 0 calories and 0 fat, so 0 everything. Definitely helps. Dinner is finished. On here I just have some spicy guacamole. It comes in these little 100-calorie packs, so I didn't even use half of that.
Chef Lynn, really so delicious. Next question. Before Krystle broke up with Amberlynn, Amber started to realize the relationship was in trouble. She then wrote Krystle that infamous manipulative letter and got her an extravagant gift. What was the gift? The options were a bass guitar, a Sega Genesis, a necklace, or a leather jacket. 34.3% of people said a Sega Genesis. 25.7% went with a necklace. 22.9% said a bass guitar. And 17.1% of people said a leather jacket. Let's go ahead and watch the clip first, and then we can have a chat.
I got you the Sega Genesis. What do you think? I was not expecting that. That thing is tiny.
Cartridge can go right in.
And it comes with 2 of these?
Wireless?
I guess so.
Yeah, they're wireless.
Wow.
Okay, so even though Amber had literally no money of her own, somehow she got Krystle a Sega Genesis. Of course, she did not, but she's saying it's from her. Somehow she just got a hold of some of Krystle's parents' money. Who knows how that happened. It does remind me of the Christmas before Destiny broke up with her. You know, love bombing has always been a part of Amber's relationship cycle and her repertoire. You know, it is classic toxic behavior. As I said earlier, like as I'm getting closer to the end of the Krystle era, it's really great seeing Krystle kind of start standing up to Amber. She sees right through her, and she's not letting Amber control her as much as she once had. I do wish that she had the strength to do it sooner, but I'm absolutely not here to judge Krystle today. I was just happy to see her start speaking up for herself a bit more, to the point where Amber is now noticing it and seeing that there's a reality here that she needs to deal with. And as I turn the corner on the last 50 days, you know, leading up to their breakup, man, I look forward to seeing more of this side of Krystle. And the other side of that coin is satisfying as well, because when Amber is panicking about a potential breakup, it's the only time that we ever see her put any kind of effort into her relationship. It's the only time we see her care about her partner. Or pretending to care, at least, right? All of a sudden, for the first time ever, Amber's like considering Krystle's feelings and Krystle's preferences. You know, Amber's cooking and she's cleaning and making a big deal out of the fact that she's cleaning. And sure, I do realize it's all performative. Believe me, I get it. But I can still find satisfaction in seeing Amber do all of these things. You know, we know she doesn't want to do them. And she's trying to like put on her performance for Krystle and thinking that she can manipulate her way back into Krystle's heart by doing these things. The closer we get to the end, I know I'm going to see more of that fake smiling and performative kindness out of Amberlynn. And I am steeling myself for her emotional response, you know, as the reality of what she'd done kind of sets in around her. I'm not there yet. We will be quite soon. This time around, I did add a bonus question at the end of the quiz. It wasn't like there to test your knowledge. Instead, it was there to satisfy my own curiosity. I asked what question you would have for Krystle's parents if you could ask only one question. I still find it interesting to like kind of collect our thoughts on the subject and just kind of wonder about what their answers might be. So here are a bunch of the questions that were submitted. I will say there were a bunch of repetitive ones, so I'm just going to narrow them down just to keep things moving. Why did you put up with her for so long? And why allow Krystle to be put through that for so damn long? Why did you give her monthly pay? Or was that just another lie that Amberlynn told? Did you ever catch Amberlynn eating in the middle of the night? Did Amber ever keep you up at night when she was up making videos? Did you kick Amberlynn out, or was it Krystle's decision? Maybe you had a chat with Krystle at some point, but left the decision up to her? Or why didn't you intervene sooner? How did you eventually tell Amber she needed to leave? I guess this person was asking for a friend. Might be going through something similar with their daughter, so I'm sorry to hear that. How did you have so much patience? Did you have to start grocery shopping more often when she started living with you? Did you really say that Amberlynn didn't need to get a job until she lost weight? Did you realize that Amberlynn was a bully right away, or did she hide it from you for a while? Did you watch Amberlynn's YouTube videos when she lived with you? Or have you ever watched them since? And if so, what are your thoughts? What was your actual and lasting thought when you heard that Krystle and ALR broke up and that she was finally moving out of your home completely? How much healing did Krystle need after the breakup, and how is she doing today? How much money in total did you spend on Amberlynn? And finally, was the rumor about putting locks on your kitchen cabinets true? I was just coughing a little bit. So, as curious as we all are, I doubt we're ever going to get any answers from any of the Krystle Era side characters. And I totally get that. Honestly, I do believe it's probably best that they do not re-involve themselves in any of this mess for their own mental health. So I just wanted to make it clear that I am not, nor would I ever, personally going to reach out to anyone in that family for answers. And I hope you'll all respect their boundaries as well. And that brings me to today's reminder. Today's reminder. The more you believe you're the main character, the more likely it is that you're not. Okay, make sure to subscribe if you'd like to participate in the next Girl Games, and look out for the announcement on my community tab. If you wouldn't mind helping me out with the algorithm, please hit like, share this video, or leave a comment down below. And if you're not sure what to say, I totally get that too. Leave me a guitar emoji in the comments in honor of Krystle's clicking noises in the background.
Sorry, if you're wondering what that clicking is.
And if you'd like to support this channel even more than that, you can become a channel member.
You should do that. Do it.
Members get exclusive videos from me, plus a few other perks. The next members only video is a story time by Ricky about the time he went to jail. And if you haven't heard that one, it is certainly quite a story, and it includes some interesting hand gestures. So that will be coming up soon for my channel members. Thank you all so much for being here. I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate every single one of my subscribers and viewers. Now, I'll leave a couple other videos on screen if you want to keep watching. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
I think it's important to always choose kindness.